This is Steve, and I'm here with Dr. Tom Hayhurst. We're in front of the Allen County Public Library. Tom, you have kind of an exciting announcement that's kind of making its way out there. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, I definitely have filed to run for Congress in 2010 here in the 3rd Congressional District. It involves 8 counties here in Northeast Indiana, or just about 8. I ran back in 2006, and I've been watching what's going on the last few years, and I decided that I literally have no choice but to file and run again here in the 3rd.
And it was a very slim margin that you were defeated, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So hopefully... I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was 54-46, basically back in 06. And I had great support from folks throughout the entire district. In fact, already those individuals are giving me a call and lining up as contributors. Fundraising is very important. I think everybody understands that, and they're calling me and offering to help out as contributors and also volunteers. And I think instead of 1,000 volunteers like before, we'll have maybe 2,000 or 3,000. I wouldn't be surprised, and they can really help a campaign, and they can make a campaign.
What do you think has changed that you would end up with that many more supporters? What do you think's changed in the country?
Well, I think 2 things have changed. First of all, to directly answer your question, in the country, I think we've just continued to slide downhill this last 3 or 4 years. We have more and more unemployment, and not just what some view as a temporary problem, the big hit our economy took back in late 08. That's kind of maybe a downhill bump in the road. We've been losing jobs left and right, losing good jobs. I think we need to have less of a laissez-faire approach to that, a more aggressive approach in creating new jobs and saving jobs for Northeast Indiana. Plus, I think many folks out there kind of thought, well, Tom Hayhurst, who's he? I think my cousin once saw him because maybe they had a medical problem, and that was about it. But you know, with 1,000 volunteers and good fundraising, we fought a good hard battle, I think, and I'm proud of what we did. And I think folks realize now, yeah, Tom Hayhurst and his supporters can pull this off and do something really good for the citizens of the 3rd District.
You and I have talked quite a bit about the we versus, me.
Yeah,
kind of sort of sentimentality that seems to be prevalent.
Yeah.
Would you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I will. I think that I'm a little older than you, but I always say I'll never retire. I'm rewired. I'm continually rewiring. But I remember a few years back, even including back in the 50s, and it was very common that if some kid went down the street and decided he was going to pick someone's flowers or throw a stone at someone's cat or whatever, the neighbor mom or dad would come running out of the house, collar that kid, and call the parents right away. They'd literally discipline that kid. They were interested in the community, what was going on with everybody in the community, kids down the street, their neighbor, somebody happened to go to the same church. This was really a broad spirit, what I call like the we attitude to how our society should run, where we're really concerned with one another, which I believe is the foundation of essentially every major world religion, Christianity, Judaism, and all the religions. I think we've really gone downhill from there. I think the situation's deteriorated. It's very sad. You have more and more of a me. I have to focus on me, think only about me type society. And I think it's been very sad, and I actually think that's why it's probably hard for some people who have, let's say, health insurance to think about the guy next door that got thrown out of his job and has 4 kids, and he's got his 22-year-old daughter has a broken ankle. There's nobody to take care of it. I mean, there are a lot of he's gone bankrupt, like 1 million people in the year do every year in the U.S. from health debt. I think we just need more concern for our neighbors. We need to think of working together as a we society once again. I'm always optimistic we can swing back. I'm talking about some sad developments, but I want to emphasize, if I talk about that, I'm going to take it one step further and say we can turn the country around in many, many different ways, including changing our culture so we're all kind of working to help one another.
Well, obviously, if you run next year, you're probably going to miss a vote on the healthcare issue, or the healthcare legislation that's currently working its way through. But set that disappointment aside. What can you do, or what can we do as citizens to stay involved in that. And then the second part of that would be, what are your views on that? You're kind of on record already, but
yeah.
Let's talk about your views a little bit more.
Well, I think what citizens going to do is to become activists. In fact, I don't like the yelling recently, but at least have folks turned out on either side of the spectrum, including quite a few who just are looking for a solution and are not going to say no, no, no to anything. I think that's good. I think we're making some progress with regard to citizen activism, but I think that it's really important for everybody to read up on the issues, know what's going on, become an activist with regard to healthcare, become an activist with regard to jobs, become an activist with regard to energy, register, vote. So important. And I have heard that something like only 3% of all the individuals, that the rate of only 3% of all registered voters or likely voters do not have health insurance. So there are only 3% of those voters. I think of that whole 15% out there that don't have health insurance for all or part of the year, the ones that are folks that have health insurance and are the worried employed, would register, vote, state their case, get involved, at least register and vote. I think that can make a big difference. That would wake up, that'd change the complexion, I think, of Washington and our nation. In terms of solutions, I've talked before about how I am very much in a listening phase of this campaign. I'm going out throughout the 3rd District, which I love to do. I know people that live near an ocean or live near mountains love to be around oceans and mountains. I like driving my car down the road here and seeing the cornfields and the deer out on a misty morning, or the sun setting. I think that's all burned into my psyche from growing up and living 90% of my life in this part of the country. But with regard to healthcare, number one, I think the bottom line is, however we do it, we have to make sure all Americans have affordable health care. It's insane for 18,000 people to die every year, and I've heard numbers a lot higher than that. That's a conservative number because they don't have health insurance. I personally have seen people that maybe take some old antibiotics sitting on a shelf for a couple days when they have pneumonia, and they get a little better. Then they turn around and start getting horribly ill and may not survive a treatable condition. So we have to make sure all Americans have affordable health care. I actually think there are a lot of different potential solutions. I mean, Medicare really works. The big question is, if we expand Medicare throughout the country, how do we fund it? It's a challenge. But I think we can also go in a step-by-step way, step-by-step process. And we've already done that. There are, I think, 11 million more kids under S-chips. That occurred since the new president was sworn and Congress was sworn in. So we're making progress already in that way. And we have to get it done. I think it's going to be a step-by-step process. And whatever bill comes out of Congress, and I think something will, I know there'll be some very good facets to it, but I know it will be reworked. Medicare was changed and altered over the years. All these VA health care, all these programs are gradually molded with time, depending on funding and community needs. So hopefully we can at least start thinking more about working together, our nation, our people working together to solve these problems. Stop yelling, talk, work out the solutions. I think we can do it.
Okay.